Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandru Mavrignanu. I hope you know everyone. I'm security manager for Citronics Romania and as well former CISO for BNP Paribas Romania. I'm here together with Aaron Stilwell. Hello, Aaron. He is
Hey,
the APT cybersecurity founder of the group. Together, I have Alex Angel, who's security senior advisory and security manager for CEGECA, Romania, and former CIO for BNP Paribas Romania. And of course, our guest, Tristan Roth, who will be the person which is certified risk manager and information security as well. ISMS I'm talking about. If I'm not wrong, please correct me here over here,
yes,
Tristan. And of course, I will let him first to present, and then after I will let him to present the Copilot or the AI into ISMS. Thank you.
yes. Yeah, so real quick, everyone, the link to his website, you can see it there under Tristan's name. If you have questions, please send the questions. And what we'll do is go through them and then I have them pop up on the screen. We can answer your questions. So we try to keep this as engaging, as active as possible because it is live. So yeah, any questions you have, we would love to answer. All right, Tristan, again, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for the invitation. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Yes. Perfect. So thank you for the introduction, Alex. And yeah, indeed, I'm an information security compliance specialist. I've especially started working on information security with ISO 27001. And this started especially in 2022, right at the same time when AI got started. Now you probably remember the release of ChatGPT back
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and then along I've started developing AI assistants that turned into ISMS Copilot. So happy to discuss today about the use of AI in this profession, the capabilities, the limitations, the evolution of the landscape.
Okay. Also, could you please tell us, could you in fact share maybe soon, like sharing your screen, how the tool is working, or for the people to show us a bit, to understand a bit, sorry, how they can help them into their, let's say, creation of policies or procedures, or even creation of controls for ISMS, or even for NIS2 or NIS or NIST, National Institute of
Sure.
Standards of Technologies, and so
Sure.
on. Please.
Yes, happy to share my screen. I think the most interesting aspect is the discussion, of course, because I mean, I don't want now the discussion only to be a demonstration in the sense that, of course, I mean, this product is what I tried my best to develop, but I think we can also discuss about the limitations later on. So happy to present you what is ISMS Copilot. That
Yeah.
is essentially the ChatGPT of ISO 27001. Now it evolved, meaning that we integrated over standards of or regulations. So now it's ChatGPT of information security compliance. So it basically works similarly to ChatGPT. But the main differentiator, sorry, the main difference is that we are training for accuracy. So we want the chatbot to actually provide the right answer, and not being expert on 1 million topics but in a very average quality level, but actually be good at what it does. That's the main differentiator.
Okay.
Any questions so far?
I might have some questions about this. how this tool can help us into creation, for example, for ISO controls. Let's say I have an audit, I have to create all the controls because the auditor is not providing
Yeah.
these kind of things, and I might need to create a file. Let's say. I'm not asking to, let's say, the AI to provide me a file, but to at least to tell me the controls that are applied for that specific standard.
Yes. So here is where I mean the ISMS Copilot can help. I mean, of course, we can. I mean, we can do the exercise. Like we can ask, help me with return of assets, and I know it's 5.11 under ISO 27001. And
Mhm.
so here you can ask, help me. I mean, I didn't specify, which I should have done, help me with the implementation of this control, right?
Yeah.
But here is that then when the assistant will answer, usually tries to understand your context and then provide adapted guidance.
And how might take longer sometimes when you put different type of questions to the AI, or it might be, let's say, in 10 seconds the answer, or it's
Ah,
based on of what we are asking.
Yeah, so I mean, here there was also some delay because I'm live, but usually it's pretty short. Then, of
Hmm.
course, it depends on, let's say, the complexity of the request. So here it was a pretty simple request, but I mean, so now it gives you already some guidance to implement the control. But the
Hmm.
point is that usually the answer are give between 2 seconds and 10 seconds. Now, I think the fact that I was live, streaming live, reduced the speed a bit, but usually it's pretty fast, especially if you compare to if you have tried the latest versions of ChatGPT, the Pro mode, where you have
Yeah,
to wait
yeah.
between 2 minutes and like 9 minutes for the most complicated request. Here it's pretty fast overall.
Okay.
So that's an example of guidance. So here, help me with return of assets. I
Hmm.
think that I know, and I'm curious also about your view on this. But actually here, I would like to clarify any misconception here. This tool is really an assistant. It means that it helps the person that is doing the job. So, for example, for ISO 27001, it helps the implementer when they have doubts, when they don't remember totally what was this control about, or what should be the strategy for implementing this control based on my context. It's really
Hmm.
about giving them more power. But for example, it wouldn't. There is no integration in ICMS Copilot, so you cannot connect it with all your tools and then automate everything and go to the beach, right? You still have to remain the main person doing the work, updating the spreadsheets, etc. So it's really positioned as an assistant to people who are doing the work. So yeah, I think it's an important aspect to keep in mind.
Okay, thank you for all the details. And how do you think this tool it will help us? I mean, it will help us making our job easier instead of, I don't know, doing analyze for, let's say, hours spending on and reading, of course, on the ISO 27001. Do you think the work will be more easier, more faster, and so on?
Yeah, that's a great question because
So
I actually wanted to ask that
yes.
too, Tristan. If typically, what is the process without using the AI to get this information together? How usually long
Yeah.
does that take?
Yeah. So I mean, now we're really so can I stop sharing my screen so that I see you again? It's more
Yeah,
yeah,
please.
thank you. Um,
Oh, there we go.
so just I mean, of course, the product is now then you can just switch to see different assistants for Dora or ISO 27. But essentially, you saw what's the interface like. So that said, now the context of information security is really evolving. So when I started working on ISO, the general timeline for getting certified was between 9 months and like 18 months, right?
Wow.
So this would be the timelines we're hearing about. And yes. Oh, sorry. Okay. So
No.
this was the timeline I was hearing about, and I mean, some companies I helped getting ISO 27 certified had been preparing the certification for several years, right? So this is the standard length. Of course, it really depends on each context company, but it's we're talking about the lengthy process where you have to. Usually, it's consulting company that
Mhm.
helps. For example, a company that wants to get certified. So we start with understanding the context of the company. Then, of course, the consultant will identify any gap. What are the requirements that we are missing? What are the controls based on the 93 controls of the 22 version? Where are we? They try to understand the situation, and then we go through the document analysis process. Then we start to establish the policies, etc. And of course, since we want these documents to be tailored to the context, it takes pretty long time. So now that is the traditional process. You're surely familiar with this one.
Mhm.
Now we are seeing new evolutions. So you're probably aware of compliance platforms. We know big names probably if I tell you compliance platforms. So this compliance automation platforms, which
Mhm.
are radically changing the timeline of implementation of a standard like ISO. Some promise 2 weeks.
I think I think
Yes,
even
yes.
IBM is providing this such of platform, right? If I'm not wrong, they have some.
Sorry.
Some I think even IBM can provide this such of future with compliance stuff and on the
Uh,
ISMS.
oh,
I have seen multiple platforms that it's not only, in fact, IBM. There is also other
yeah.
platforms who can provide this. You mentioned about some others, but I was mentioning about IBM because even IBM have this such ability to do that.
Of course. Of course, I'm not aware of IBM, but I was mentioning platforms that are, I mean, the market leader is Venta, and it's all this compliance automation industry, who are radically changing the timelines of implementation. Some actors, not Venta, but some actors promise 2 weeks implementation timeline, which is for everybody who worked on ISO. Really has trouble believing that we can properly have a robust ISMS setup in 2 weeks. But generally, other platforms they took this timeline of on average, let's say 12 months to maybe more 3 or 4, right?
Mhm.
This is in general this industry. ISMS Copilot is a bit different because I'm not a compliance platform, which means that I don't automate much. It's really an assistant that will typically help the consultants that help the company getting certified. So it means that I mean I've worked with consultants that they could spend 1 week to write 3 policies, and it was a great achievement. Wow! Like, oh, we met 1 week ago. Now the encryption policy is written, etc. Now, any consultant that uses ISMS Copilot can have a template get done in a couple of minutes, and they can customize this template to the relevant context, and they can do it in an anonymized way as well, and they can
Mhm.
finish the customization with the customer name later on. On their own Word document. It doesn't need to even happen in ISMS Copilot, and to be honest, maybe it's not revolutionary, but it's already helpful, and this is what matters.
One question from my side, Tristan, just
Yes.
to understand a little bit. So, being an assistant, you are focusing more on analysis and knowledge sharing for the user, right?
Focusing more on. Sorry, I didn't hear you well. For focusing on
Analysis,
analyzing.
analysis
Yeah.
of information. So, requirement that is coming from the user. User is
Yes.
formulating a requirement, you are analyzing the requirement, and based on that you are coming back with an answer. So your focus will not be to automate compliance, but it is more to offer the information needed in scope of analysis, right?
Exactly, and I don't. So I'm very careful about not using the word automating. Maybe I did it in the past because I started 2 years ago working on this. But really now every new piece of thing I write doesn't contain the word automating because it's just not automating. Of course, it accelerates, right? If you ask generate policy template and you have it like 30 seconds later, and it's tailored to your context. It's way faster. But automating, no, because everybody that works hands-on on implementation knows that the policy template is barely the beginning of the work, but then it needs to be, you need to involve the stakeholders, you need to have a IT on board, you need to have the CISO who approves the policy, you need to have someone sharing this policy, and this is not automated. I still think it's important that stakeholders are involved here. So I'm not automating, I'm
Okay, so
assisting, and I'm really fine with this.
from my point of view, if we are looking, there are two parts. It is the technical part, which is specific to the company, for which you don't have such information, and you have this global framework that you are generating. My question would be, I try to use the tool. It is a nice one. I was looking more to understand if you are able to, in scope of analysis, if you are able to map the same functionality between different frameworks. So today, for example, you are having GDPR, but in the same time you have ISMS, and you are having as well maybe something else. Are you able to, using your assistant, to map those controls or points of controls between frameworks?
Yes. So here, so of course, I'm gonna give you a full answer. But it's, I mean, so there is a. I mean, the point is that sometimes AI. I mean, AI use can be a solution, but sometimes we should also leverage what already exists. So can ICMS Copilot help with mappings? Of course. And now, so today, I just upgraded to the latest model provided by the Anthropic, that is the company behind Claude. They released today the version 3.7, so which means it's let's say considered as one of the smartest AI model, and it means that now ICMS Copilot is using its training knowledge to then process information based on this model. So, and in its training knowledge, it has relevant knowledge of information security frameworks. It doesn't contain the standards because we are, I mean, doing things in compliance with intellectual property, but it contains the information about what's inside the standards or frameworks. And based on this, it is able to proceed to process information. So if you ask ICMS Copilot, I'm certified with SOC 2, and now I would like to go for ISO 27. Just before I asked about this, and it gives you a mapping between SOC 2 and ISO 27001 controls on the controls. Now, of course, the thing is that imagine there are like 100 people that have the same need, and every day they ask ICMS Copilot, please do mapping between SOC 2 and ISO 2701. Well, at some point, I think it's a bit, let's say, I mean, it's a bit suboptimal that each of this person is asking a mapping while maybe the mapping has already been done. So this is why I also created a website where I list mappings that have already been done by other people, because sometimes you can surely ask AI, but if it has been done 100 times and it's of good quality, it's been reviewed by other people, you might as well want to reuse something that has already been done. But yes, sure, my AI can help, especially if you work families of control by families of control. Okay, well, people control in ISO, can you look for equivalent controls in SOC 2, etc. Here, it's likely to produce good results, but also think about reusing things that already exist.
Usually, a company needs to adapt to multiple compliance frameworks, and in this scope, they are looking to be a little bit more efficient on how they are managing the resources and how they are investing the money. So, if they would be able to adapt only the delta between the new framework and what they already adapted or existing on the company level, then this will be a real added value for them. This was the reason for which I asked, because in the
Yes.
scope of analysis, yeah, maybe a new legislation is coming and I need to incorporate only what is new, considering that I'm already maybe ISO 27001 compliant. And from this perspective, for example, we have NIS2 came, requested additional requirements, and part of it is already existing in ISO 27001.
Yes. I really like the question. I think it's really relevant. So on this, so for the main European standards on information security are included in the knowledge of the assistant. So NIS and DORA. And me, for example, working in a financial institution on DORA compliance, we had this use case where we were already ISO 27001 certified, right, the latest version of the standard. And the question was exactly this: how do we? I mean, what is missing to be DORA compliant? So we did a gap analysis, and I used at least the tool to ask the question. So again, even without revealing anything specific about the organization, you don't even need to reveal the organization name, but you can say, hey, knowing that. I mean, we have these controls in place. What is the areas we should pay attention to on DORA? So then, okay, you should review your contract with your critical ICT providers, or you should reconsider the threat-led penetration testing, etc., etc. And this is exactly the kind of task it helps with. But of course, it always needs to be reviewed because it's not free of mistakes. That's the accountability is in the hands of the organization still.
Do you think in the future we might see, for example, healthcare, like when we'll have the Healthcare Act or healthcare standard from the European Commission, we might have into the AI? I mean, are you thinking to put that thing as well for the people who are working as a security manager into the healthcare?
So I mean, for me, it takes me a little time to integrate knowledge of new regulations. Then, of course, it depends always because, for example, if it's a standard, now it cannot be put in the body of knowledge, but to regulation, since it's public information, I mean, it can be integrated pretty much quickly. Now, so of course, then as of today, what we work with is the customer request, right? Or what are users asking, what are customers asking, and if there is a significant demand for something, for an evolution, of course, we take this direction. But now it's driven by community, driven by the users.
I'm not asking you to have it now. I'm thinking in the future because
Yes.
might be experts. We don't have yet experts too many into the field. I know a bit of them. I'm honest with you about this. At least in Romania, I know a bit of friends who are working into information security as a security manager, in fact, for the healthcare sector, which is not an easy one. It's a hard one. Why? Because you have a lot of OT devices over there. You know, all those medical machines that they are doing a lot of things like EKG or X-ray or dental thing, for example, and so on, which is not a simple one. Plus, it's coordinated with a server, and that server is in a room dedicated, and so on. And over there, you have other type of standards that are applied specifically for that room.
Exactly.
So this is why I was asking if we'll see that kind of info into the AI, because people might look, okay, let's see what policy I can apply for that hospital or clinic. It doesn't matter what it is, or maybe I don't know what procedure should be in place, and so on. And in order to, okay, let's see, me as security manager, maybe I know something, but in order to have my work done more faster, more easier and efficient, in fact, I need to have an assistant, let's say.
Of course, Just to give you a context of how these assistants work, so they are relying on a technology that is called RAG, so Retrieval Augmented Generation. To do a very simplified explanation of this is imagine that you have a model that is,
Yeah.
for example, a model of GPT 01 or Claude 3.5, etc. This model, they will look into, let's say, storage of information. They will look into, for example, a PDF, right, that has been turned into knowledge that can be searched by the model, and then the right information can be retrieved. So it means that a new regulation is generally now a 144 page long PDF that can be turned into piece of knowledge that can be then be retrieved by a model. So it means that a new regulation means another PDF to put in the core body of knowledge of the assistant. This is the basic version, but then what happens is that the training on ISMS Copilot is that then we realize that the user, for example, for the EU AI Act, the user needs to know if they fall under the prohibited practice. So there are very specific question on this. Of course, the assistant can provide a reply based on knowledge of the act, but it might lack real life implementation knowledge because sometimes now the text isn't everything. So we need also some Q&A. So then I create Q&As, I do my research, or I use my own implementation experience. Then I bring more real life intelligence into this. Then, of course, with this new standard, no, I mean, not being familiar, this is why I would need people to request it and then to create the relevant training knowledge before incorporating into the assistant. But of course, it's possible.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question. Right now, the Copilot it's more dedicated for the European continent. Are you willing to, or are you thinking for I don't know, in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on, to go, for example, to implement also some frameworks or acts from the United States, where of course over there you might know they have more than what we have also here. Some
Yes.
they are already. I mean, I'm talking about NIST, which is also in place on the European continent. But they have HIPAA, for example. It's one of them, and then of course they have quite many others.
Yes.
If you check, are you thinking to implement this in the future?
So HIPAA is already part of the body of knowledge of the assistant.
Okay, but what about the others,
yeah.
for example?
So actually, just so we have two versions, meaning that we have, let's say, the default version is global, has been global from day one, meaning that we have especially US relevant US information security frameworks,
Okay.
and actually we also have information for Indians and our
Oh,
main.
nice.
Actually, it's like the top one country of people using ISMS Copilot is India, and then the sum of European countries as well, and US is in a third position. But yes, so your answer is yes, we will, always driven by customer and user requests. And then of course we have these separate assistants that are focusing on the European Union frameworks, and they're also hosted on EU servers. So there's a slight difference in the application when you go to EU assistants. We have this separate version, especially focusing on EU, because it's we have a 90-day data retention maximum. It's doesn't
It's
go
based
out of
on the
European Union.
oh yeah, I
Yes,
got
yes,
it.
yes. But yeah, for the US, we're going to continue, but always driven by what people want.
At the moment, are you receiving any suggestions or recommendations from other people where they are asking, could we see this or the or that future or
Yes.
functionality? Okay.
Yes, yes, pretty much every week right now. This is why it requires a bit of prioritization and data preparation, because I mean, again, like the core edge of having such assistant compared to ChatGPT, for example, is that ChatGPT will, on average, know a lot of things, but it won't be very specific, especially if you, I don't know if you try to use ChatGPT a bit to work on ISO, for example, but
Once,
when you ask it,
once I
yeah,
tried with ChatGPT, it wasn't so
yeah,
smart as I was looking for. I mean,
yeah,
I tried to ask about NIS2 controls.
mm,
He didn't provide me exact details what I was looking for. Then I tried to
yes,
go to a higher level to put a different type of
mm,
question, and same. He didn't provide me. He provides me, let's say, generic thing from
yes,
from what it is on the website in regards with NIS2, but not details about the controls, how that controls it comes from, which article, and so on. I did a test
okay.
with yours, and yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, he can provide you the controls, and based on the controls, you can ask additionally to provide details about which article applied for this specific control, and then
Yeah.
he's giving you the article and plus the details about that article.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's the direction I've tried to push for. Then, of course, you don't always control 100% the behavior of AI models, but at least they have instructions that are given, that are the way they are designed, and that's the way I'm pushing for, is to be specific. And this is possible because again, it is looking for training specialized in this domain, which ChatGPT is not providing. And even search features there, ChatGPT has this new deep search thing, which is honestly good, but it still relies on the quality of blog articles it will find on the internet. And I mean, they can also contain mistakes and hallucinations. So this is why controlled data set usually provides better quality. This is why we are progressively integrating new knowledge, but it's not not every day if there's a compromise on quality. So these things take time, and Iceman's Copilot is here to stay a long time. So we have time.
Will be a free this year or for the next years? Are you thinking to put subscription in the future?
It's actually, there is already, so now we have Icemus Copilot free. So
Hmm.
I mean, it's in the name, right? So
Yeah.
everyone can use our most basic version. So not basic in terms of intelligence, because actually even the free model is the best model we have. So now this latest
Hmm.
cloud that just got released today, but the limitation is that you cannot use it unlimited. So at some point during the day, you will reach the limits of usage. So you need to wait a couple of hours. But for people that are really have an intensive use case, or that need to rely on the EU assistant, because the EU assistant costs me more to run. So here, yeah, you need to subscribe to have access. But otherwise, yeah, it's as today it's free, and if you need to use it more, there's really modest subscription. I mean, this is why I'm not comparing this tool to compliance platforms, because if a compliance platform costs anywhere between like 10K and like
Yeah,
60K a year
I
based on the
agree.
framework,
I agree.
my tool is like 300 euro a year, so a bit different.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yes,
understand.
yes.
But could be an option to offer just the automation part with a separate provider. So yeah, you are training, you are developing this part, but at the end, if someone wants nevertheless to do automation, could be as well something to think about.
Yes, especially because actually, I mean, I'm familiar with compliance platforms, and as of today, they are starting to integrate AI into their tools. But any tool, right, that start from doing an assessment of your context, then guide you with modules through risk assessment, etc. They kind of have, they by design they have some rigidity, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good products, but by design sometimes they have some rigidity, and why the assistance on the other way, it actually can understand your context and you can give you tailored guidance you need. And so this can be good. I think they are complementary products, and I think that works well. Yes.
Okay.
Alex, any other questions?
Well, on my side, I was looking more so based on your strategy of evolving the products. You mentioned that you are targeting to include as well other frameworks, and because this regulation usually is applying to different sectors, especially the financial one, I am looking more to understand. Are you looking as well to incorporate something in the scope of PCI DSS or for the
Good
SWIFT
question.
or other payments directives?
Yeah, good question.
So PCI DSS knowledge is coming. I'm working on it. By the way, if some people want some knowledge to be, I mean, for example, a framework of PCI DSS to be supported, not that I can do training deals with people, knowing that they can help me providing the relevant training knowledge, accurate, etc., and deep, and so that then, of course, in the end, this knowledge is integrated into this assistant. So as of today, I don't have PCI DSS training data yet, so this is why it's not supported. But it's I mean, so now it already knows, let's say, still surface level knowledge for a PCI DSS, but in the future it's gonna be supported. Yes.
Okay. Based on your strategy, I assume, and considering that we are speaking about frameworks and regulations, I assume that more and more financial institutions will be on your scope of using the tool, right?
Yes.
How are you looking to position in order to gain attention and to, let's say, to use let's say your position on the market in order to attract those financial companies? What will be the added value of your tool compared with others in the market if you are thinking to have such strategy?
So I mean, it's multi-dimensional question. So I mean, the first thing is that I believe that now the main people that are using ISMS Copilot are consultants. So I think it's actually consulting companies that help financial institutions. So this is already, I think we're slowly getting there already. But now, of course, for financial institutions, I mean, we are investing in trust. So just for being completely transparent, I didn't raise any funding to build this tool. So it means that I created this tool by myself, and I'm progressively evolving it based on customer revenue, right? So we started by being profitable from day 2, and now we're trying to evolve this. But one of the key things, it is why I released the EU version of ISMS Copilot, is to invest in trust-related elements. So I mean, when you have models that are located only in the European Union for people that needs access to this, we have with short-term data retention and also so a specific assistant on DORA, for example, that DORA is about financial institutions. So here, I think this is a way, for example, tackling frameworks specifically in the ways that are relevant. So data allocation and data retention, I think these are elements that that can attract the attention of the just people that need it in the end. And again, the goal is really to provide assistance. So on DORA is a key example of, like, you can get assistant, and this is nice, but there are some decisions that you cannot outsource, right? So the applicability of DORA, I don't know if you had to work on this, but it's actually complex to know if you are in scope as an ICT provider, or if you're just a
Critical
financial
provider.
institution. So you can get assistance here, and now it's sometimes very complex. So yeah, we already could help institutions with the DORA Copilot. Already is used by financial institutions, so it's already in the way.
Okay.
Aaron, any question from you? Maybe
No,
you want.
I'm
I
letting you
know.
guys rock it this time.
I know it's not your profile, let's say, into
Nah, man, but
security.
you guys are doing fantastic, and this is great information. And
Yeah.
yeah, however long you guys want to cover, um,
Mhm.
you know, Tristan, if you want to show more of the demo of the product, be more than happy to walk through stuff.
I,
It's up to you.
I mean, maybe
Before
yes.
Yes, before moving to demo, maybe I would like to understand a little bit why AI model that you are using is better than others in the scope of compliance framework. What it is the added value?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So please give a little bit more insight about this model.
Yeah. So it's based on the I mean the technology that I'm using that I explained before. But I'm going to share my screen again so that to explain a bit how it works. So here, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I
Yes.
just posted it. You're good.
Okay, so here, so you can see that there are several assistants that are proposed, and here, for example, the EU assistant. And here you can select, for example, the DORA Copilot. When you click on the DORA Copilot, what you will go through is actually an assistant that is trained with the proper text of DORA, and the model will be looking into the DORA PDF. I mean, of course, this is a simplified explanation because it's the PDF has then been converted into numbers, and the model will do predictions. So, I mean, it's a bit more technical, but technically, the simplified version is that it's looking into the DORA PDF to actually try to read it and then provide an answer based on the DORA PDF. So I'm not a competitor to any company releasing AI models like Claude or ChatGPT, but I use their the intelligence of their models they release to then look into the PDF of the DORA of NIS2 or GDPR, so that then it actually knows better and provides the right information.
Okay. And there is foreseen any new version of the engine to come and to improve, let's say, knowledge base or training model or repository information.
I didn't hear exactly the question. Sorry.
So today, this model that you are using for AI, it is foreseen to be improved, to come with new features.
So
And
I mean,
for example, we you
I'm leveraging always the best models available. So I mean, today Anthropic. So Anthropic is an AI provider that is competitor to OpenAI, but they got recently ISO 42001 certified. So it means that they care about AI governance, and so this is why I like their work, and it means that if you release an AI model, most likely it means that they did some work that, for example, try to reduce the hallucinations produced by the assistant. So it means that the model is supposed to do less mistakes when looking for information. So it means that in my use case, when I ask the model like Claude 3.7, please look into the DORA PDF and then just uh, provide an information about what does Article 12 says about, right? It will do this job. It is expected to do this job well because they worked on improving the model. So me, I just leverage the best work done by this model provider companies, and then my role of in my house is to maintain the training data good. So to have good pairs of Q&As about any given framework to not to clean my training data, and then leveraging these models that are now you have new models every week. You probably heard about DeepSeek, the
Yeah.
Chinese that got released 3 weeks ago. It feels like an eternity, but a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago,
Correct.
I could release all my assistant on the best DeepSeek model. I'm not doing it because other models perform better, but I could, and every week I check what is the best model that, for example, is able to list the 93 ISO 2701 controls, so the version 22. What is the model that perform this list the best way without producing mistakes, right? So without, if you read the list of controls, it's just accurate. And this model,
Okay.
and the best model that does this wins the race, let's say. So, and
I
this
just
is
saw
constant.
I just saw an article on Claude, on the new
Yeah.
one. I guess it just came out. So the Claude 3.7. So it's
Yes,
the first, I
yes,
guess, hybrid reasoning AI model that they're doing.
yes. So now it got deployed a couple of hours ago on all SMS Copilot assistants except the European Union ones, because it takes more time to release anything in the EU, because here in this case we want that the data that is being sent to so any conversation with my EU assistants, it stays in the European Union. So for example, Claude, it's American, so it means that the API call to Claude would go to the US. So
Yep.
with the EU version, we're trying to avoid this. So it means that we need first the model to be available somehow. And I'm betting a lot of Mistral, the company, the EU leader. So probably in the future, all EU models will rely on all EU assistants for DORA, for NISU, for GDPR, etc. They will rely on Mistral.
Okay.
Yes. Any
Well, we're at
other question?
12:47. I just, does anybody have any other questions? We don't have to keep it to an hour. It's up to you guys.
No, for time being,
I had some other points that I wanted to share that I think are important.
Yeah,
But happy
sure.
to.
Please, thank
Yes. Yeah, don't worry. So I think that's, AI is continuously under hype, and to be honest, like even me that's providing an AI, it's tempting to feed this AI, but now, I think we got a bit too far in general into this AI hype, and I think now it's important to mitigate. And I get increasingly involved in AI literacy education. So I don't know if you're familiar, but so now the EU AI Act said something very important. So that from the 2nd of February, so that was like not 20 days ago,
Yeah.
AI literacy requirements kicked in. So it means that companies that are somehow providing or deploying AI within the company, they need to have people adequately trained on the use of AI, understanding the AI capacity, and most importantly, limitations, what they should do with AI, but what they should also not do, or now capacities they should not externalize, like judgment making, decision making, and verifying accuracy of the outputs, etc. And I think that I think that, for example, with this use case of AI assistance, I want to make it clear that I think that even though it's an assistant, it's still important to verify answers, because I'm trying to do my best to have clean training data. I'm doing my best to provide to put the best models into the assistants, but still, like if you ask not to do a mapping between the 93 controls of ISO, and then also mapping with EU AI Act and 144 pages, might provide a mistake along the job. So, and I think it's something it's important to be aware of this, that it's helpful, but especially when it matters, or before sharing it with someone else, etc. Performing a review is normal and should be. Yeah, I don't know how you see this, but I think it's that we should have reasonable use of AI, and verification is important still.
I think we need to have a security awareness. That's one of the things that's dedicated for the AI, because some people, they don't know how to use. They think that AI is it's for providing all details all the time, but it's not like that. I mean, you can't rely 100% on AI. We saw very often. I mean, me, I'm seeing very often where I hear people that are relying on AI, even for a recipe. I don't think that a recipe
Yes.
will give you let's say a help or support with something. I don't think that even for you receive let's say some pills, you want to take those pills and you have to rely on AI. No, you have to go to the doctor. That's
Yes.
the only way.
You're
I
seeing
mean,
that, Alex. You're seeing that in the university level too. My daughter is university level, right? And they're using AI to write everything. But the problem is they're not verifying that information if it's correct or not.
Mm.
yeah,
Right? So they're utilizing it and they're saying, okay, I ran it in ChatGPT. This must be correct. Right.
yeah, but
And then
it's
the
not like
teacher's
that.
saying, whoa, that's not what's in the book I just gave you. That's a problem. Right.
Yeah.
So they're seeing to where instead of doing the research on the back end and getting the correct information, obviously you are with your system because you're grabbing that data, but they're just relying on ChatGPT or one of these models to give the correct information
Mm.
without doing any research into the books,
At the
Yes.
moment, I think at the moment, not only ChatGPT but also other AIs can't help you too much. I mean, first we need education. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
Second,
yeah,
we
I
need
agree.
awareness. So that's another thing. After we have these two things, we know how to use ChatGPT. We know how to use at the highest level. You
Mm.
remember Marcus Carey, who explained us how the AI should be used. Aaron, if you
Yeah,
remember,
that was a great book.
yeah,
Mhm.
there is a book where he's explaining how to use the reality of the AI, and it's not a
Yes.
bad book. I mean, Aaron already read.
Yeah, I read it
Uh,
as soon as you recommend it. It's on the fourth age. On
Mm.
the fourth
yeah,
age.
yeah, the fourth age,
It's all
exactly.
about
Nice.
talks about
Nice.
AI, and I mean it goes in depth on should we use it, should we use currently what we have, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions of really what is out there and what we can do, and it kind of explains that in detail, which was nice because it was kind of an eye opener for me because you hear these stories about the threat of AI, it's going to ruin everybody, it's going to it's going to turn right now we have lean AI, it's going to turn AGI, but the benefits he talks about of what really can be done, obviously with what you're doing right now is pretty incredible.
I'm trying. I think that one of the key mistakes that people do is considering that AIs, especially like ChatGPT, are an accurate source of knowledge.
Yes.
What now? How I see models like ChatGPT is a way to process information. So I mean, so if you provide a question, it will think. Now they are positioning all these models about reasoning,
Yes.
which is not thinking as humans because it's models still predicting what is the relevant answer. But it means that to be accurate, it still needs like an accurate source of data,
Yes.
and the accurate source of data. This is not in the model most of the time. I mean, maybe some now categories of dogs, maybe, but not, for example, for the contours of the InfoSec frameworks. It's not the case. So it
Yeah.
either needs to be provided by the user or it needs to be the PDF that the AI model is looking into, and this is
Yeah.
what I'm doing. But still, even there, the AI can make a mistake because it might miss some detail, especially in the middle of the PDF, for example. So
Yeah.
this is why, verification is still needed. And I use iSmith Copilot every day. I'm the main user of my own product, but still I Google, especially for okay, is it really Article 27 of the EU Act that deals with fundamental rights assessment, or did my AI commit a mistake? So now it produces less and less mistakes, but I think it's really sane to verify just these figures or important information in the end. And
Yeah.
yeah,
How often are you using, or how often are you testing your AI?
every day,
That's
every
so
day,
you.
and I don't take vacation. And for the moment, I think never been sick, so so it means that I work every day. I also work on the weekend, which I try to reduce. But so I'm testing iSmith Copilot every day, and no, I mean, but I mean, cannot rely. I'm working with an engineer that's helping me developing the next version. We're trying to give more powers to the Copilot, especially ability to upload files. or to generate PDFs.
Yeah, I'm looking
based
for
on
that.
conversation.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I know, but so many people. But the thing is that, well, there is security to. We need to work now, make this release secure. So this is why
Yeah, I
I'm
understand.
hiring an engineer. We're designing this in a way that, I mean, it would be European Union hosted, etc., encrypted storage. But these things, they don't happen magically, right? We need to make it happen. So this is why I'm working on right now. Yes, so it's gonna come out.
I was asking because, for example, for the controls, maybe in the future will be great to see an Excel document, or even not for the controls, but also for other things that we need. Also for I want to be I want to create a policy or a procedure, and I need that file, and I might ask AI to help me with that, and so on.
Yes. Yeah, now you need to copy paste. I'm really
Yeah,
aware
I
of these
know.
limitations.
I know.
It's going to be fixed, but let's take the time to do it well, right? With my engineer, we're going to release as soon as possible, always with the condition that it's secure.
Do you think will be implemented in 1 year or 6 months? This future?
Oh, more 6 months than 1 year. Now we are working on it this day, so
I understand.
yes.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Good.
a good job. I could say. As I said, I
Congratulations.
already tested the platform, the tool. It's unbelievable. I did a test to Dora. I did a test to NIS2 because I'm working for NIS2. I need some details over there. But yeah, good job again.
Thanks a lot. And now, okay, it came back into my mind. What I wanted to say is that, I mean, it's good also to rely on over pairs of eyes. And what I did is that I released the reporting issue button, where, I mean, people can upvote or downvote the answers, and
Mhm.
I'm performing reviews, especially downvoted answers. And if we find, for example, any misinformation, anything that is not correct has been reported, I can update the knowledge of the training assistant, like correcting the answer, say, no, you should have replied this.
Yeah.
So for any factual mistake, this can turn really helpful. So if you're using it, just report bad answers. And so we perform review and provide the right answer when it was a factual mistake. So people can help also testing it, but I'm testing before release, and data sets are
Mhm.
regularly reviewed to make sure they are accurate and good quality.
So
Okay.
Tristan, I do have the website up there where people can go to. So ismscopilot.com.
Yes.
You know, and everyone, if you want to kind of give a little plug to some of the different stuff that you're doing with it or signing up, we'd love to hear it.
Perfect.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
everyone, thank you so much.
For conversation. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
If
evening.
you guys are stay on, I'm going to end the stream, but you can stay on.